Rise with India podcast on ET Now.
You're with the ET Now Rise with India podcast. I'm your host Rohit. Here's what's making news this Wednesday morning. Former Punjab Chief Minister Captain Amarinder Singh finally spelled out his next political move, announcing he would form his own political party. He said he was hopeful of a seat arrangement with BJP in 2022 Punjab elections if the farmers' protest is resolved in the farmers' interest. Minister of State for IT Rajiv Chandrasekhar has said that the government is looking at rolling out a 5-year strategic perspective plan to make India a significant tech player, especially in quantum computing, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity and semiconductors. The government has sanctioned non-productivity linked or ad hoc bonus for central government employees for FY21. The ad hoc bonus would be paid to the central government employees in Group C and all non-gazetted employees in Group B who are not covered by any productivity-linked bonus scheme. FMCG growth rate in rural markets, which has been on the rise for the past few quarters, has moderated while it is picking up in urban areas. Hindustan Unilever Managing Director and Chairman Sanjeev Mehta also said that the next few quarters need to be very closely monitored to understand the situation of underlying demand. Coal India has said that the supply of coal was prioritized temporarily to power producers to replenish their dwindling stock of the dry fuel. Meanwhile, the coal stock situation and thermal power projects have improved further as the number of non-pit head projects having less than 4 days of coal is down to 58 on Monday from 69 a week ago. Steel prices are set to go up further due to the expected coal or power shortage and rising raw material prices in China that will potentially weigh on the earlier than anticipated price correction, according to a news report. The crypto universe celebrated a landmark moment as the first ever exchange-traded fund of Bitcoin started trading on the New York Stock Exchange. The ProShares ETF is not the first ever Bitcoin-related ETF in the world, as countries like Canada have already launched a Bitcoin ETF in the recent past. US indices clocked their highest close in 6 weeks as investors assessed earnings and the impact of inflation and supply chain worries. At bond markets, the yield on the benchmark 10-year US Treasury note ticked up to 1.634% from 1.583% on Monday. Back home, markets ended with modest losses after a 7-session winning streak as investors opted to pocket some gains at record levels. FMCG counters led the losses after HUL's Q2 earnings missed estimates. In the broader markets, the BSE mid-cap and small-cap indices tumbled up to 2%. Foreign institutional investors purchased shares worth about 512 crore rupees, while domestic institutional investors were net sellers to the tune of 1,700 crore rupees. And now let's talk about some of the active stocks this morning. Adani Group has said that it will invest over $50 to $70 billion in renewable energy value chain over the next decade, and the group firms have committed 70% of planned capex until 2030 to the energy transition. Shriram Transport Finance and Hero FinCorp are planning to raise up to $600 million through a syndicated offshore loan on increasing demand in the logistics space, according to a news report in the Economic Times. Nestle India reported a 5% growth in net profit at 617 crore rupees for the quarter ended September, driven largely by a higher single-digit volume growth in the domestic market. ACC reported a 24% year-on-year jump in consolidated net profit at 450 crore rupees in the September quarter, but saw a sequential decline in the bottom line. L&T Tech has posted a 39% rise in consolidated net profit to 250 crore rupees for the September quarter and has raised its dollar revenue growth guidance to 19 to 20%. Tata Steel BSL has reported over 5-fold jump in its consolidated net profit to about 1,800 crore rupees for September quarter, mainly on account of higher income. ICICI Pru Life has reported a 48% increase in quarterly net profit led by growth in premium and investment income. Moody's has raised the outlook of Indian banking to stable from negative, citing moderate deterioration of asset quality since the onset of the pandemic and likely pickup in credit growth with economic recovery. Airtel has announced its video platform as a service offering and said it will be chasing a $100 million target for this new offering, Airtel IQ Video. The service allows businesses to build video streaming products for large and small screens. And that's all we have time for. Thank you for listening in. This is your host Rohit signing off. Goodbye and take care.
The Rise with India podcast on ET Now.